Assalamualaikum everyone. First of all, let me say that I'm speaking as a concerned Singaporean, not as a conservative or a member of a faith community. According to the rationale provided by the PM, the Prime Minister, Singapore will repeal Section 377A as a preemptive measure to ensure that the Supreme Court does not strike it down on the basis of the equality argument, thereby leading to the legalization of same-sex marriage. In other words, it would appear like the government would like to preserve the function of the gatekeeper law without the gatekeeper law, i.e. to continue to prevent the normalization of the gay lifestyle in Singapore. That, anyway, appears to be the rationale, and we'll take the government's word on it. Well, the only way to prevent full normalization in the wake of decriminalization, the only way to hold back the inevitable new and ever-escalating demands of the LGBT agenda in Singapore is going to need to be through new legislation and regulations. And this does not only mean solidifying the definition of marriage. It means legislation to prohibit the promotion of the LGBT lifestyle in the media, in schools, in the private and public sector. It means legislation prohibiting the teaching of homosexuality in sex education. It means legislation to prohibit the censoring of speech with regards to factual data associated with the health risks connected to the LGBT lifestyle. And it means legislation to include sexuality on the identity documents of citizens and full disclosure of sexuality to employers. If the government is going to accept the long debunked scientifically false claim that homosexuality is an immutable genetic characteristic, I see no reason why sexuality should not be listed alongside race, ethnicity, or religion on our IC, on job applications, and census data. This would not have been possible under Section 377A, as homosexuals would claim that they would be jailed for self-identifying as gay. However, after repeal, they can make no such claim. We need to know who precisely belong to the LGBT community in Singapore and where they are working, because it may be inappropriate for them to be working in certain fields, such as education, healthcare, counseling, law enforcement, or important government positions. Let me remind you of the case of the ex-Ministry of Health Dr. Le Teck Siang. He had his American husband brought into Singapore and submitted his own blood sample to get him an employment pass, not once but twice. The husband goes on to steal the Ministry of Health database of the HIV patients, and then he threatens the Singapore government to release those documents if the government did not free Teck Siang from prison, over arresting him for the fraud. And the other case is the case of the ex-HDB director who was secretly filming men in dressing rooms. I mean, this is another man in a top position. Both of these cases involve crimes that are directly connected to the gay lifestyle and are indicative of the emotional and mental instability that are rampant in this community. So it is important for us to know the sexuality of individuals before they are given important positions. The gay community is overrepresented in the statistics on STDs, mental illness, personality disorders, psychological instability, and drug and alcohol abuse and addiction. These factors need to be scrutinized very carefully before they should be granted jobs in the fields mentioned. The only way the government can prevent the normalization of this lifestyle after legalizing it is to be legislatively proactive in combating the inevitable flood of demands that will come as they have come in the West. These are among the concerns for us as Singaporeans on the issue. Thanks for listening.